Welcome to the Fintech Scaling Show. This podcast is sponsored by Scale Up Consulting, helping fintech startups create a scalable organization to support an ever-increasing demand. When you're ready to grow, reach out to us at richard@scaleupconsulting.co. Now, over to the show with Richard Doherty, founder and host. Hello, fintech leaders. Super excited today because we've got Didrik on the call. Didrik's the CEO and founder of Bizbot. Excited because Didrik's a true entrepreneur and he's a person that creates his own destiny. So we're going to find out a bit about that, a bit of how to create your own destiny. And also excited because you bring a wealth of experience into the show. You're a board member, you've worked in consulting, you've been around the startup scene. So very keen to get your valuable insights today. So welcome, Didrik. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Richard. It's a pleasure to join your talk here, and I'm looking forward to our conversation.
Awesome. Let's kick off. And I always like to start the show just to give insights into the guests. So let's start today with you just giving us a bit of a background into what you think, as a younger you, what you think your role as founder and CEO would have been. What do you think was going to be? But actually, at the end of the day, it's been something slightly different.
Yeah, I guess that when I started my first company while I was studying, I thought I was going to do more of what we were doing. But after I wouldn't not a couple of months, because I didn't realize, but when I look back after a couple of years, I saw that what I'm doing is administration and paperwork, which I was not used to as a private person. Everything is on my phone. I've been to the bank once, and that was to get my first ID so I could buy beer. That was my motivation to go to the bank. And now everything is online or on my computer. But starting a company, paper and forms and everything, and I did not like it. So I wish I prepared a little bit better for that.
Cool. And I guess that's part and parcel of it. And maybe it's as a founder or as a new founder, new CEO, you have this idea and you think, oh yeah, I want to solve this problem and I want to build a company. But as you say, there's also, I don't want to say mundane, but maybe the tasks that have to get done, i.e. you have to file your tax return, you have to have a good accountant that knows numbers, and you have to send them you have to create money, send them invoices, you have to gather all these invoices. I mean, to get over that hurdle, I assume you built up, at that point in life, you've built up an understanding that a team is required to at least help you complete these tasks and sort of give you the freedom to go off and do what you want.
Yeah, I would like to add to that, because being a CEO is actually kind of a legal role in the company, while other employees are employees. But actually being the CEO of the company gives you more responsibility than I realized. I had no clue. I thought CEO sounded cool. You're your own boss. But I also found out that some of the things that you said, like you find a good accountant, etc., but actually you need to learn a lot on your own. It doesn't matter. Your accountant, if they do anything wrong, it's your responsibility. Yeah. So you need to learn at least enough to learn what they're doing. You don't need all the details, but if you don't know what they're supposed to do and how, you might end up getting the bill. And that was an experience I also thought. I thought if you have an accountant, let's blame them. But that's not how it works. It's you are the one to blame. And most likely in startups, you have a board. But in the end, it's the most of the responsibility is on you. Bigger companies than board have a more like involved role as the chairperson or board members. But in a young company, you are the one who knows everything. So a learning is that I had to learn a lot.
And help me understand that. Help me understand just a bit more of the insides of that. So you're saying you had to learn a lot. Okay, we got the legal and the accounting side out of it. What other aspects did you, as a CEO, maybe the legal responsibilities or the responsibilities of the CEO? What other aspects did you have to learn and you think are, important to share with our listeners?
I think that, for example, on starting with the accounting part, you need to know basic economy, how to liquidity, budget, just general accounting, yearly report statements to the government. Everything is your responsibility, but then you also have, if you have employees, you have some labor rights. You need to make sure that you're following the law. If you have people on a fixed hourly rate, or they are employees on a certain percentage, you need to make sure that they have insurance. We need to make sure that they have pension. All these things that might seem obvious are not very obvious when you haven't done it before, right? So when you do, so I think that I realized that I have been in all the traps you can walk into, and I saw other entrepreneurs doing exactly the same. And it should be the other way around. Things should come to me, because that's how it works as a private person now, because the society knows you. But as a business owner, you have to look up everything.
When you say things come to me, what exactly are you referring to?
I would say that I would like to compare it to something, but for example, if I go back again to the company, when I started the company in Norway, I got a mail from from Oslo municipality, and they and it was huge. Lots of paper with things that they could help me with, but none of it was relevant at the time. So I threw it all away. So it was and I talked to everyone else, and they said the same. So, but for example, if you go on Facebook and they know your profile, you will at least see ads that are relevant for you. I always say that if you're single, you see dating services, and if Facebook finds out that you are your girlfriend is pregnant, you'll see children's stuff like diapers and stuff like that. So it's more a world where things come to me, but as a company, it was pretty hard to navigate.
No, I hear you, and navigating that, setting up businesses, and also having your own life. How have you balanced that? How have you balanced your life with running and setting up businesses?
Yeah, I would say I'm not sure if it was intended or if it was just the way it turned out. But of course, I've been single for a while. Actually, the day I kind of started the company, actually it was the day I got my first investment from an external investor. The day before I got single, and honestly, I'm pretty sure it was related, because being an entrepreneur, you need to be focused on what you're doing, and it's not very. It doesn't go hand in hand with having a relationship. So since that day, I was single for a long time, and I think I've seen other friends of mine who has a wife and kids, and it's harder because it's hard unless you are very skilled and trained in doing that balance that you are talking about. Some I was not happy with not meeting anyone, but I also realized that if I meet someone, I have to prioritize in a whole different way, and I'm not sure if I can do that. Now my life is very different. I met a girlfriend. She has 2 kids from before, and and suddenly my life turned upside down. The work-life balance. But I have prepared. I've spent a lot of time on how to make priorities, task lists, calendar. I've spent a lot of time on organizing my life,
And
that has helped a lot. That's
how
the
does
key.
exactly so organizing your life? I like it. It's not just organizing your work and your daily routine at work and your to-do list. It's your life. So let me understand that. How does that work? Are you do you have certain blocks in the day or on the week?
No, it's not. It's not that. So I would say my calendar tells me when to do something, and when it's not Corona, also where to be. But now it's just video. But that tells me that's time and location specific. Everything in my calendar there, and then I have a to-do list where all the things I'm going to do, but it's not time specific. It's just like, and I can put them on different dates, etc. So I don't forget things. One of the pains was that I came up on I came out on some thoughts on something I had to do, and then I didn't have a routine to write it down, and that raised my stress level. But now everything just goes into the list, and I can forget it. So it's much calmer. I know where to be, and I know at what time. My cell phone, my watch will beep when something happens, so I can relax. I don't need to constantly think about where to be and stuff like that. And then I did something because I had a lot of ideas, which is not to-dos. It's more like notes about ideas I had, which is very often 99% not relevant for what you're doing. So I have not a to-do list, but a place where I write down notes, and it's just to calm my head. Very often I never use it, but it calms down my head so I can focus on something else. So organizing, and also I did something with my mailbox, is that when I push send, it's a send and archive function in Google, in Gmail. So if I go to my inbox right now, I have just like a couple of emails, so it looks very nice to my eyes. It's empty, a lot of inboxes is full of things. And I would say that the hardest part has not been this. This is simple. This is just tools you can use. Find whatever calendar, to-do list, whatever fits you. The hardest part is priorities. And I'm much better, but still I have a way to go. And that's what's needed now. What's your goal? What are you trying to achieve? And why are you doing all these other tasks? Very often you would like to avoid the boring stuff that actually makes you reach the goal, instead of, so much harder on priorities, and also learn how to don't give a shit, because that's what you need to do. Stress down, go out with friends. If you have a holiday, have a holiday.
Nice. And how is I love this because you've given us the insights into how to manage your life when you run a business. And how's this helped in your life? How has it benefited you to take the time to put in the structure and then follow through on that structure?
I would say that I think I'm not the person who stresses a lot. I think that some people just stress more than others, and I'm not that type of person. But still, you get stressed. Still, there are things that, because in my work, it's it's not life or death, because that's one of my points. That's why I can stress down, because nobody dies. It's just a company. But for the company, it's life or death. If I don't get the funding within 3 months, we're out of cash, and then it's pretty serious. So if you want to, if you live with that every 2 or 3 times throughout the year you need more cash, that's going to be quite stressful, both for your work, but also for your personal life. It's your salary, right?
Mm.
So I think that you need to learn how to live with it, and try to stress down, and don't be afraid of failure. That's what I'm doing all the time. As I said in the beginning, my first company failed. We
Mm.
had to close it down,
Mm.
and I learned a lot from that.
Mm. And I guess part of doing this, as a person, as a founder, as a CEO, is also making certain you continuously self-educate. We've already mentioned, we've spoken about sort of understanding the CEO role. Now
Mm.
we sort of mentioned around, okay, well, life. How do you put in the structures and what have you to make certain you have the life that you want?
Yeah,
And all of this is around self-education, right? So
yeah.
how do you go about recognizing and then educating yourself on various parts of the life journey, and also obviously running a business?
So I think that the fact part of self education is easy. You just Google. I find everything on Google, or I have a network with people I can call.
Yeah.
But learning about the way of life, I have one example that when I was early stage of my first company, I was playing tennis with a friend, and I put my cell phone on top of my bag with the volume on full speed, and if somebody called me, I would run to talk to that person. So in this way, my job was controlling me. I couldn't play tennis with my, it was talking about 1 hour. But then I realized that that's not the way. If somebody calls me and they actually have an interest in me, if I don't answer the phone, and I'll call them back. That's what you do. But I see a lot of entrepreneurs, they think that they have one of the benefits is that you can control your own life, but they
Mm.
end up exactly the other way around. Your startup controls you in every aspect, and you need to take that back. That phone, it could have been like the most important investor in my life and giving me lots of money, but if they are interested, they would respect that I was not available and I can call them back.
Mm.
But you
Yeah.
don't think that way, and the same way. So I see, and also the focus about a lot of entrepreneurs, at least that's my feeling, and I could see myself also a little bit in the beginning. How many hours did I work today? That's the wrong question. What kind of results do you have today? What did you achieve today? And if you spend 1 hour, fine, then take the rest of the day off, or work more, because if you work too much, you're eventually going to be exhausted. And I've seen several examples of people going down, and they have to
Mm.
stop work. You know.
And this, just picking up on the last point you mentioned there. So working, and there's a culture, you see it everywhere on Facebook, LinkedIn, everywhere. Yeah, I'm up at 4 a.m, I'm bench pressing a million things, doing this and doing this and doing this. And yeah, by the way, I'm also a successful business owner, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
What you're saying is like, you know enjoy life, and create a structure that produces results. And how does this play out for you? I mean, it's a big Friday or Thursday or Monday. When can you sort of call time I don't want to say on the clock, but when can you call time? And is it results driven, um, or is it something else that impacts that time that you put your pen down in the evening?
It's certainly not time related,
Yeah.
for sure. So it's more about results, and when I actually, because you also need to take care of your motivation. First of all, I think you need to like what you're doing, because if you do, it's more like a hobby, and hobby you can also do when you're not working. So I just had a call with another guy, and he was actually on holiday, and I told him that, for me, having a holiday means not doing all the boring administrative tasks, all the boring tasks,
Yeah.
but having an interesting conversation while somebody else reads a book. I can have a conversation for an hour with some interesting person, and I would call that part of why my work is also my hobby.
Mm.
Uh, so if you get my point, and then I can save the boring stuff from to Monday morning or regular work hours. But so I hope I'm result driven and not driven by the hour. And if I would like to join my family on something, I will do. Then I take a day off and work in the evening.
Yeah. And how is this? What are the results? How's this approach manifested itself in your life and also your end product for your business? What are you seeing come out of you taking this path?
I would certainly say that now I'm ready to combine more of the work-life balance, where the life is more prioritized. It includes more than me, because when life is just you, then you just take the evening off and it's fine. But now I have more people to care about, and I think that's possible to do now. And I think that if you are good at this, you can do that from the beginning. But I see that people are stressing a lot and they're not producing something. If you turn off, then turn off. And actually, I also like to mention that I think also I've tried to, sometimes when you have a startup, you celebrate, you do something good. But unfortunately, very often you also have the down parts where things don't go well. And I think I've tried to cut off the bottoms and the tops, because it might just lead to the expectations might not be what you thought, and then it's better to just be like more of a straight line.
I hear you.
And I think it's not a straight line, because you should celebrate when you do something good, and you should also, but you should kind of do the same with when something goes wrong. Not necessarily celebrating, but take it into account, talk about it. That's what I'm trying to tell all my employees also. What I don't like is when people don't take responsibility. What I do like, if you take responsibility, make a mistake, we learn from it and we keep on.
Yeah.
That's what I like. When people don't take responsibility, they just sit there and wait for something to come to them. That doesn't work at all, especially not when you're a young company.
Yeah, no, I hear you. And talk about young companies. I mean, you guys are a few years into Bizbot, and I think it would be interesting for our listeners to understand. Let's start with the problem. What problem Bizbot is actually solving in the market right now?
So I think we've already touched upon it, because I started Bizbot based on my story. It was based on my first failure. As I told you, it was a meeting where I thought I was going to do a lot of this, and I did just paperwork, and I was putting out fires. Nothing to do with helping our customers, just everything behind the scenes. In front of the scenes for the customers, things went fine. It was behind the scenes where everything was at the end, it was impossible to dig myself out of the hole, so we had to close down. So I thought, what is Bizbot solving? I was dreaming of a business robot, a digital co-founder called Bizbot, who could help me start and run my company, where things come to me. So, for example, you and me want to set up a pizza restaurant. We go to Bizbot, we set up a company. It's as easy as setting up a Google account. We get the 50% shares, and the system asks what you want to do, and you say pizza restaurant, and it asks what part of the country or city, and it will suggest the best location where there are fewest lowest density of pizza restaurants. It will even look up places you can rent. The system will tell you what kind of accountant knows pizza restaurants. Are you going to grow and have 100 pizza restaurants or just one? Okay, just one. Then you have this software is very cheap for you. So kind of like social media, how they know you as a person, we would like to know you as a company and help you set up and run the company based on other services, like a kind of like an app store where we suggest you services and products from others that fits what you're doing and where you're located. If you are in Norway or in England, we will suggest you whatever you need.
And yeah, I was going to say, does this work across borders, or is it specific to Norway or another country in Europe?
No, that's the whole point. If you want to succeed, in our case, we figured out that we have to take the app approach. So we can build the core, what every company has. The cap table is just it's plus and minus. How many shares do you have and how many do I have? But the way you change it might be very different legally. So we have developed the framework, the core, the basics, and then we would like to. And then in Norway we have built some Norwegian specific applications, and then we would like to showcase that to other countries. And either we build more ourselves, but we have an open API, and we have tried to make it very easy for developers and others to create apps. And together with our partner BDO, who's also a global company, and we would like to use that as a way to enter other markets.
And I love the idea, I love the concept, I love the problem it's solving, because we spoke about it at the top of the show, and we've now sort of circled back. But how have you gone about approaching, well, no, actually not approaching, how have you gone about promoting your product to your audience and your target markets? How have you communicated your message to let other founders and maybe co-founders know that actually there's a service, there's a product that can help you alleviate this back end pain that you're going to go through?
Yeah. So first of all, we are still pretty young. We have spent a lot of time on market fit, because it's quite obvious what we're trying to solve if you look at the vision, the big vision. But where do you start? What's the market entry? What's the value proposition? How can you go to the market? So we spent a lot of time with other entrepreneurs that me and my co-founder knows. Talk to them. Now we have a partner, BDO, who immediately saw the problem, but they also saw that we need to be specific on the how to enter the market. Why do you start using Bizbot like right now? And that's not because you have lots of things. It's usually because you have one thing, and then you enter the platform and see, wow, I can do other stuff as well. But the main reason must be very clear, and that's what we're doing with BDO now. So we're solving a very clear problem for the Norwegian market. But behind that, we need to build the rest of the platform so we can do the same in Sweden, Denmark, or whatever. So right now we're very focused because we need to succeed in one market before we can go to the next. That's pretty obvious. So that's what we're doing right now. So right now I would say that main channel to reach customers is through partners. But also we hope for an organic growth. Our whole platform is built to enable organic growth, and we think that the value is high. Often when you have organic growth, you give your users a discount to invite friends. But we have a value. If you invite your other shareholders in your company, you can share and communicate with them on our platform. So we give value rather than discounts, for give an example. So we think that that's a way to grow, and also of course do regular marketing and talk about what we do. And I would say also we can blog about a lot of these problems also as an independent kind of actor in this space.
because blogging is great, right? It gets the message picked up, and
Yeah.
with the internet right now, a lot of people will gather around, especially because this is, in my view anyway, this is quite a unique product, and the product would be wanted by many. So I guess you spoke about product market fit, you've spoken about entrepreneurs, and also the partnerships. What have you, through that process, how has it helped you narrow down the message that you are going to go with as you enter into the next phase?
Yeah, so we started out with a pretty broad vision. This idea of having a digital co-founder who knows your company and can provide you everything. It seems like I remember the first time I used digital co-founder, and I was pitching at some pitching event with there was judges who's going to rate the ideas, and they immediately, you could see that the smile on their faces. Yeah, digital co-founder. So throughout the way you pick out those words that people understand what you're trying to do, because that has been a problem, since we cannot say that we are another bank, we're just doing it cheaper and faster. So it has been hard for me to talk about what we do, because it's not that easy to compare it with. But main feedback also from every time I pitch the idea has been, we love your vision, but what are you doing today? How do you start? Because obviously we can't start with that whole operating software robot thing, and that's the vision. So I think we had to sit down and find out what can we do that has a clear value proposition, huge growth potential, and not too complicated to build. So return of investment kind of thing. And so it was not easy. We have spent a lot of time on this, and we have failed, and we have done it again and failed, and we've done it again. But now I'm pretty sure we are on track onto something. And so that's part of the whole journey. And also adding to that, also the feedback I've gotten is that somebody don't like that I talk about the vision. They just want me to talk about what we do today. And I disagree with them. I think you should do both. This is what we want to do, and then you talk about what you do today. But some people say, forget about the vision. And I think that's also an important lesson I've learned, that you get feedback from a lot of people, but you don't need to agree with them. And don't need to have them as your mentors, or you have to be brave and pick your own pick your own mentors, or people you would like to join you, whether it's employees, investors, mentors, whatever. I like to disagree, but not on the main parts. I mean, what are the vision? Are we have to be in the same boat, kind of. And I've met many people, and I just disagree with them, and then that's fine. because I think that in the beginning you're talking to someone, and they're working in a big company, and they seem like professional, but they're too professional. They don't know anything about startup. And they're too narrow-sighted to see the big vision.
So on that, I mean, we'll be talking, because it's important that as founders, CEOs, leaders of startups, we have a vision or a mission that is our, to coin a phrase, is our North Star. How then have you picked and chosen maybe the people to come along in your boat?
I don't think I've picked anyone. They just appears. If you are out there on events, you need to be out there. It's being an entrepreneur for me. It's you're kind of selling your idea to investors, to mentors, to board members, to employees, to co-founders. You have to convince them. And I think that the way I see it, if they like the vision and the main idea of what I'm doing, then now we're talking because I know that they like what we're trying to do.
Yeah.
And then we can sit down and they will give me harsh feedback on why do we do this now, but we agree on the main parts. And after that, then you should have people around you that will challenge you on everything, but in a good way. So like somebody who wants you well and they like your idea, but now we need to focus on all the details, and now we can disagree. That's super fine, because if you end up with yes people, that's not good at all, because they don't give you anything. But what I'm talking about, if you feel like they don't like your concept from the beginning, then waste of time talking to them.
Yeah. And you say as entrepreneurs you need to be out there. What do we mean by that?
I mean, I think I mean what I just said about, if you're probably going to need cash, you're probably going to need more people to the team, you're probably going to need at least some mentors or something. And how do you find them? They will not find you. They have never heard about you. I mean, you could be one of the lucky ones that people come to if you are, let's say you are a tech person and you have built something great and everything just comes to you. But I haven't seen too many of those. I've seen more of entrepreneurs needing to get out there, talk about it, pitch it to people. They will say no. You go back, you do something else, and you try again, and this goes for everything. What do you say to your co-founder? What potential co-founder? What do you say to your investors? What do you say to pitching competition? Anything. And then you go back and you rewrite. And at the end, you need to trust yourself a little bit, because I'm still not happy. I don't still know how to pitch Bizbot. I'm never happy with it. And at some point, I think I was searching for the perfect pitch, but I'm not sure how that works. You just need to find out who.
Isn't it not? I mean, we're getting slightly off tangent, but pitching you mentioned a number of times. So let's just pick it up for a second. You know, for me anyway, listening to you, and I'm sure my listeners would agree. You know, you are Bizbot, right? You can see you've gone through the pain. You can see you've come up with a solution. And pitching is about authentically talking about that pain, authentically talking about that solution, and not hoping, but getting people to then follow that vision. So you say you go back and forth on it, but it seems like you got a pretty good grasp of what you need to do here. So but be interested to get a bit more insights as to what you mean about tweaking it a bit more.
I think what I'm talking about is the very I mean, before Corona there was a lot of events. Startup is now entertainment. Everybody wants to be part of the next thing. You see the corporates coming in, everybody's coming in, but in the end, I remember I was at an event and we got 2 or 3 minutes, and then you were thrown off stage. Somebody with a timer just like next, and there was 30 companies on a row. I think it was a small break, like 15 plus 15, and I was on the first part and I was trying to listening to the second part 15 times 2 or 3 minutes. I couldn't even remember the name of the companies. Wow. And what they were doing, no idea. So I realized that what would work is if I said Bizbot simplifies business administration, and then I could put on a hat and play a song on the guitar, do something funny, so at least people will remember. Right. So I'm talking about this very, very short pitch. If you give me 10 minutes where I can talk freely, I will do a much better job than 3 minutes where you try to say everything like so your logo and your like one-liner, and you play a guitar, do something funny so people remember you. Much better.
It
return of investments like 100 times.
Yeah, awesome. And talking about return on investments, I mean, what processes have you started putting in to make certain that you do get sort of that return on investment when you start spending money? Because you need to spend money to grow at some point, right?
Yeah, so return of investment is also something you should think about, not only in terms of cash, but also in
Yeah,
on what you're doing.
yeah,
And talking about how to organize your life,
yeah.
think about what
True,
are you actually trying to do,
true.
and is this getting closer to your goal, or are you just working because you're working and you're looking into something not needed right now? And
Mm,
when I talk to our product team and tech team every day, it's about nice to have and need to have, and
mm,
blockers. What is actually blocking us right now?
mm,
That's the most important on our stand-ups.
mm,
Anybody's blocked from doing their work, we
mm,
all focus on fixing that.
mm,
And then it's always, and that's a problem for me because I'm very visionary and I have tons of ideas. So I have to always think nice to have, need to have. What do we
mm,
need? What is nice to have? What can be done later? Put it in the backlog. Organize things. Forget it. Put it there and don't think about it. So I'm still not good at it, but I'm very focused on it. I know about it
mm.
and I think about it, and for the, and this, if you do a good job here, your return of investment on the money will be good
Yeah. No, no,
because you're focusing on the goal. So um, yeah, I think that, and also, but of course, in another way, like we were raising funds and supposed to have a meeting, like a big investor meeting, and 3 days before it was lockdown. So obviously,
yeah.
everything we planned for, every budget we had, everything just like we
Mm,
and reorganizing. But that's that's the story of my life as a founder.
yeah.
So we then you just don't panic, just you figure it out, but
Mm,
make sure you can tune your burn rate quite
mm.
fast.
Yeah, you made some salient points, and I get the whole return on investment, life, product, business, but there's also, in business as in and in life, there's also making certain that we do have some understanding, a very good understanding of sort of the financial part of the world. You mentioned early on, we chatted about it early on around, accounting and finances and getting knowledge and understanding of that. And it'll be interesting to get your insights as to how you go about effectively managing that budget and that forecast, and then making certain that your goals and objectives are achieved off the back of that financial planning.
So you know when you're pre-revenues, you get an amount of money in a funding round, and
Mm,
it shouldn't be that hard to just subtract each month, how
mm,
much do you have left.
mm,
But it's amazing how hard it can be
mm.
to control. And liquidity, I think it's the most common reasons for companies to file for bankruptcy, I
Mm,
think. um, it's strange, it's just like plus and minus, but it is. So back to what we talked about in the
yeah,
beginning, you need to learn. There
yeah,
are things you just need to learn
mm,
as a CEO. You just have to
mm,
learn, or you need to have a co-founder you trust who can do it.
yeah,
Somebody needs to know, and it's not your accountant,
mm,
unfortunately. I think it's extremely important. I also learned, as I said, how to scale your burn rate. If
mm,
something goes wrong, tune it down, buy yourself some time,
mm,
um, and better turn it up again to later to do
mm.
more. So yeah, I think somehow here you just need to educate yourself.
Yeah, I hear you. And as you move on and as you sort of go into the next phases, I know we were talking earlier on, and you're in good discussions with some potential things happening. But what questions are you starting to ask yourself, and what factors are you considering as we move beyond COVID and what have you, as you continue scaling up your and growing up your business?
Yeah. I think the one thing I've been thinking a lot about was actually the work-life balance. After
Mm,
I my first company failed,
mm,
I had to do a lot of thinking, and that's
mm,
where a lot of these ideas came up. I need
mm.
to be able to control that. You need
Mm.
to control your work. Don't let
Yeah,
the work control you.
yeah.
Very important and easy to forget. And after I met my girlfriend with two kids, uh, I have a lot of other things to think about. But I am sure I work much more effectively now and do more better return on investment of my time because I have something on the other side. You don't
Mm,
just now I'm going to stop working and do what?
mm.
Because now I have actually something to do.
Yeah.
So when I come back to work, it's kind of a reset of my mind. And since I have control, I just look at my to-do list. I haven't been concerned that because I spent a lot of time concerned to be concerned about forgetting something. But when I come back to work, I have my to-do list, I have my calendar, everything just jumps back.
Mm,
So I don't go, I have to think about this. Oh, I can't forget this.
mm,
Everything is there. So I can easily just stop, do
mm,
something else. So spent a lot of time on that.
mm.
Um, and you mentioned Corona.
Yeah.
Actually, what we found out, we are a distributed team. So working on Slack and
Mm.
video calls, etc., wasn't really a new thing for us.
Yeah, yeah.
But we tried to meet physically and have a hackathon and a social meetup
Nice.
two, 3 times a year. We couldn't do that, so we missed that, of
Mm,
course, to meet each other. On financial side, of course, it was hard to raise funds, but uh, there are always opportunities in changing times.
mm,
Some companies have done really well, others haven't, and we are a digital cloud-based tool for companies to make it easier to run the company. So actually, it was quite a nice fit
yeah.
right now. So you need to see that and take advantage of it.
Mm.
Um, yeah, and
Yeah.
right now I'm thinking about how to scale, and that's going to be a new chapter of the company's life.
Cool. And we've spoken a lot about learning and educating throughout our chat today.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it makes sense to end off with maybe a book or a blog or a podcast that you have read recently or are reading now that you think would be relevant for our listeners as they go through their fintech scaling journey.
Yeah, first of all, I don't read books, so that's a fairly short uh, question
Podcast,
answer. Yeah.
podcast.
So
What
so
about podcasts? YouTube channels. There's lots of
yeah.
come on, man.
No, and no, so I actually don't read books. I haven't read a book since I was studying. So I would say that not specifically, but I'm online most of the day,
Yeah,
running through social media
yeah.
and other things. So it would be not a book, and I think I'm not patient enough to read one. I would rather I live by, I mean, if you read 250 pages, how much can you retell? And I would like somebody to just, I would like that, I would like somebody just to retell. I don't need to read 250 pages.
Yeah.
So that's why on social media, I will end up with my network on LinkedIn, Facebook, whatever, to see blogs, to see a video. But I like to keep it short. I don't need to look like for hours on something. Just give me the essence.
Mm.
Um,
Nice, nice. And I mean, on LinkedIn and Facebook, is there anyone that you follow? Maybe some influencers or others of the of that ilk that you think are relevant and interesting to link up with and follow?
I mean, I would say that like we met,
Yeah,
my network will give me all those bits and pieces.
yeah,
Nothing like specific, but if you have built a network, they will somehow it will be posted and you will follow them.
yeah.
So I can't come up with any names now except you. So, but but
Yeah.
but there are more, because that's how you do.
Yeah.
You build your network, and they will post things, and
Yeah.
that's more than enough.
Yeah,
So
I hear you. I
no,
think it's the way. I think it's. I was talking to someone, another founder, a few days ago, and they're actually saying that exactly what you just mentioned. But they mentioned that what they created was a little social influencer bubble with inside their company of like 20 or 30 people. And they're saying that what we do is we make certain that everyone's connected on like LinkedIn or Facebook, whatever the channel is.
yeah,
And we all then follow each other's work or posts and the people that are connected to the people. So all of a sudden, there's information sharing across the company, and
yeah,
everyone's talking about various things, the right things that are sorry, the problems that they need to solve for their customers. And I thought, wow, that's a pretty cool way of educating cross company. I mean, you mentioned it's the same sort of thing right now, but just on your own. So yeah, I
yeah,
like the idea. It's nice.
yeah.
Cool. Okay, listen. And how can if anyone wants to get in touch with you guys at Bizbot or yourself, what's the best way to do it?
For me, I guess LinkedIn or email.
Yeah,
That's a good starting point, because then, back to priorities.
yeah,
Reach out, and we'll find a way, and see if if it's uh, if it's a good fit for to talk, and I'm more than happy to talk to people, and I do that a lot, and even more actually now during Corona, where you
yeah.
don't meet anyone.
Exactly.
You had to do it, go online, and yeah.
And what's are you happy to give folk your email address?
Yeah. It's Didrik at bizbot.no.
Great. I'll also add it to the show
Yeah,
notes as we publish.
yeah.
Okay.
Do LinkedIn also. I mean,
Yeah. Cool.
that's might be even easier. So you can get to know the person a little bit.
Yeah. Exactly. Cool, mate. I mean, absolutely amazing discussion today. I think we've gone into various topics, but I think the essence of the show was, really take control of your life as you build up your company, and really consider what needs to be done on a daily, weekly, monthly basis across both aspects to get those results that you wanted. So thoroughly enjoyed it. Loved the
Yeah,
conversation, and also uh, I really love the product. I think it brings a dynamic solution to a problem that, to be honest with you, I've been through it, and others. I know others go through it. So, looking forward to seeing you guys really move on and scale up in the near
yeah.
future.
Thanks, Richard. I'm looking forward to it as well, and keep on controlling life, and not let the work control you, and make sure the results are focused, and on the right results.
Yeah, awesome, mate.